Yo, what's good, yo? I'm JB Hoops, and today I got my top 10 centers in the 2022 NBA draft class. Make sure to check out my other top 10 videos. I've done one for the guards, the wings, and the forwards. And let's get into the top 10 centers in this year's draft. Starting off with a few honorable mentions, they go to Orlando Robinson, the junior out of Fresno State, Isaiah Mobley, the brother of Evan Mobley, junior out of USC, and Ariel Hakpuri, the 19-year-old out of Melbourne United. Coming in at 10, I have Ibuki, the 7'1", 19-year-old out of Senegal. He's got a huge frame at 7'1", 230 with an astounding 7'9" wingspan. If it is actually 7'9", that's crazy, but he definitely has really long arms. He's an excellent interior defender, he can block shots and anchor your defense. He's an excellent rebounder, and I'm pretty confident he could give a team good backup center minutes, although he is generally a pretty raw prospect. But he can definitely block shots, run the floor well, and be a lob threat, and just a big body out there on the court. So that's why I have him as the 10th ranked center in this class. At 9, I have Walker Kessler, the 7'1" sophomore out of Auburn. He's an elite shot blocker, had an all-time great shot blocking season. I think he had an 18.8 block percentage, which is just insane. He averaged 4.6 blocks a game, and I think that will translate to the NBA. Not the 4.6 obviously, but he's going to block a whole lot of shots. He's a very solid defender overall. He's great at defending the pick and roll, and he also even hit a few threes, although I don't really like his form. Definitely needs a lot of work, and his mechanics are quite inconsistent. But what concerns me the most is his slow foot speed on the perimeter. He just doesn't change directions well and will get cooked by shifty ball handlers. So that's why I'm kind of lower on him than I have been previously, just looking more into his game. And I just think he'll really struggle guarding NBA guards. And he's also very foul prone, racking up 3 or more fouls in half of the games he played at Auburn. So that's why I have him at 9. Coming in at 8, I have Jalen Williams, the 6'10" sophomore out of Arkansas. I don't know if he'll necessarily be a center in the league. He is a bit undersized at only 6'10", but he should be good as a small ball 5. He's an excellent rebounder, racking up almost 10 per game. He's one of the best passing bigs in the class. He's an excellent decision maker in the short roll. And then on defense, he's very versatile, has the ability to protect the paint and hold his own on the perimeter. And he also has a 7'3" wingspan, so that definitely helps him. But what impresses me the most is his charge taking ability. He's one of the best charge takers I've ever seen. He just always beats the offense to the spot. And if he can be more consistent with his 3-point shooting, he's probably going to be a starter in the NBA. And I'll definitely see him getting first round looks. At 7, I have Christian Colocos, the 7'1" junior out of Arizona. He's a super athletic big and a huge defensive presence with a 7'4" wingspan. He gives everything you want out of center, blocking shots, dunking on people's heads, scoring in the paint, knocking down his free throws at a solid clip, and crashing the offensive glass hard. But I do think he will struggle with the physicality of the league. He needs to put on a little bit of muscle, like a lot of young guys do. But he also is very undisciplined with fouls, and his decision making is pretty questionable. And there's just a few other prospects I like a little bit more. And there's the fact that he is 22 years old already, so you have to lower him down there a little bit. So that's why I have Christian Colocos as the 7th ranked center in this class. At 6, I have Yannick Sosa, the 6'11" center out of the Democratic Republic of Congo. He's one of the youngest guys in this draft. I think he might be the 2nd or 3rd youngest. He's very raw as a prospect, but he's super long with a 7'5" wingspan. He's extremely mobile, and I think he has elite defensive potential. The type of speed he has at his size is just unheard of, and the way he gets around the court is amazing. He doesn't really get a whole lot of PT, so he only averages like 2 points per game. So he's a very difficult prospect to judge, and he'll really have to kill it in workouts. But he's someone I could see being a first round pick, but could also see going undrafted. So it's really hard to say, but for now I have him at 6. Just out of him, I have another international guy, that being the 7'20" out of Senegal, Khalifa Diop. But Diop has an NBA frame and excellent length. I've seen unofficial measurements of his wingspan at 7'5", but then also at 7'2", but he's got pretty long arms regardless. He's an excellent athlete and extremely mobile on defense. He has super soft touch around the brim, he's a good passing big, he can run the floor, then he's also flashed some extra abilities like handling the ball a little bit more, shooting a few mid-range jumpers, and if he can add that to his bag, he's going to be a very good NBA center. And although he's a little bit raw and he makes some bad decisions at times, I think he's pretty firmly a top 40 guy for me in this year's draft, and I have him ranked as the 5th best center in this class. At 4, I have the final international guy in this class, and that is Ismael Kamagate, the 6'11" center out of France. He's kind of similar to Diop. They're both extremely athletic and mobile, but I just like Kamagate a little bit more. He's a very good rim runner, he's very efficient, shot over 64% from the field and almost 66% from the line. He's excellent in the pick and roll as a finisher, he sets great screens, and he rolls really hard. He's also an excellent offensive rebounder, and then on defense he's an excellent rim protector and very versatile. He has quick enough feet to switch onto guards, and his 7'5" wingspan just makes it impossible for anyone to shoot over him. He also has a pretty nice jumper with some very solid mechanics, and he's nice in the mid-range. I think he has the potential to expand his range out to the 3-point line, and if he can do that and improve a little bit with his touch on his left hand, he could end up being a lottery prospect by the time the draft comes around. Just ahead of him, I have Mark Williams, the 7-foot sophomore out of Duke. I think Mark Williams is probably one of the most NBA-ready centers in this class, and just fills the fundamental roles of a center to an elite level. He's an excellent shot blocker, averaging almost 3 a game. He's an excellent athlete with a 7'7" wingspan, which is just crazy. He runs the floor hard, he can shoot free throws at 73%, and I just think he's going to give a team impactful minutes from the jump, either as a backup or potentially a starter if a team like Charlotte grabs him up. The only concerns with him are his passing ability and dribbling ability. He kind of just fumbles the ball a lot, and his passes are very inaccurate, and also his touch around the basket isn't great, but the 73% from the stripe is very encouraging. So that's why I have Mark Williams as the 3rd ranked center in this class. And number 2, I have Jalen Duren, the 6'11" freshman out of Memphis. He's 18 years old, one of the youngest guys in this class. He's born in November, so he won't even be 19 when the season's starting. And the way he's built is just insane. He looks like a young Dwight Howard. He's a huge presence on the glass and in the paint on both sides of the court. He's an excellent athlete, tears the rim down every time he dunks, but he also has extra abilities. He's a versatile and switchable defender. He moves his feet pretty well in space and can cover the pick and roll. And he also has a 7'5" wingspan. And then on offense, he's a very solid passer, someone like a DeAndre Ayton a few years ago. And then I've also seen comps to Bam Adebayo, and there's definitely a little bit of that in him. And I have him at 2 because I think he has the potential to expand his offensive game. He had a few jumpers throughout the season and has very solid mechanics. So if he can consistently hit the mid-range or eventually even hit the 3, he's going to be a dominant center. However, he does need to work on his touch and polish around the rim. He is also a pretty poor free throw shooter at just 62.5% and a little bit undisciplined with turnovers and fouls. But I'm not too worried at all. He is only 18. I think he's definitely going to be a top 10 pick in this draft, and I also think he'll be the 2nd center taken in the 2022 NBA draft. So that obviously means with my final ranking, the number 1 center in the 2022 NBA draft class, I have Chet Holmgren, the 7-foot freshman out of Gonzaga. I don't even know if he's 7 foot at this point. He's probably 7'1" or 7'2". He is extremely skinny, yes, but I don't think it'll be too much of an issue in the NBA, because I think he might follow in a similar trajectory to someone like Evan Mobley. He might come into the league playing the power forward position, and I think that'll be excellent for him because he can stretch the floor. He shot the 3-ball at about 39% this season, which is just crazy, given everything else he brings on the court. He's insanely skilled in just every aspect of the game. He has excellent shooting touch, he can handle a little bit, pass, and then on defense he's probably one of the best guys in this class. He can defend in any coverage in the pick and roll, he can handle guards in the perimeter with his 7'6" wingspan, and then inside he's one of the best shot blockers in the class, with excellent shot blocking instincts and timing, averaging 3.7 blocks per game. Pretty much the only concern I have with Chet is his aggressiveness, and obviously the potential for injury given his thin frame, but I think once he gets into an NBA program they'll be able to pack some muscle on him pretty quick. And I just think with the way he plays, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And it's not like you're asking him to guard Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic and stop them, because no one does. He's just asked to play defense, protect the rim, and just be a two-way force, and I think he'll be able to do that. So that's why I have him as the number 1 center in this class. That is the video. That is the top 10 centers of this year's draft class. This is the last of the top 10s for each position. I think I'll probably have my mock draft coming out the day of the lottery. So I think that's the 17th or 18th of May, so look out for that. I'll have the 4th installment on my big board, dropping probably a week after that. And I'll continue the series of breaking down individual prospects in this year's draft. So stay tuned, turn noties on, subscribe, like the video, comment what you think down below if I missed anyone. JB Hoops.